prison, he is still viewed by police as the leader of the state's largest and most dangerous street gang. Joni Lum is here with the latest on today's raid. Joni?
Sonia and Dave, authorities believe Larry Hoover is running an enormous gang operation from inside the Dixon Correctional Center where he is housed. Chicago, Illinois, and IRS agents carried out a federal warrant at the offices of Save the Children Promotions, looking for evidence of income tax evasion and money laundering. The 44-year-old acknowledged leader of the Black Gangster Disciples has been in prison since 1973 for a drug-related murder. At several parole hearings, he's claimed he's a changed man who is no longer violent. Today, police spent about 2 hours combing through the records of Save the Children on the South Side. They seized half a dozen cardboard boxes and file cabinets of financial records and also $7,000 in cash. Police say the charity organization has legitimate operations, but they also believe it is a front for an effort to get Hoover out of jail. Police believe that Hoover has been running drug trafficking in the city of Chicago from his jail cell, and that potential tax law violations may be a way to dismantle the gang.
Today, the Cartoon News Network proudly presents the plot to kill a GD board member, Daryl Pops Johnson, versus Gregory Sharp. Pay close attention because, at the end of our show, we'll ask the question, did Larry Hoover order a hit on one of his close friends? A crucial piece of evidence in the 1995 RICO indictment against Larry Hoover and the Gangster Disciples was a detailed, 27-page roster of the GD leaders, their counts, meaning the number of members paying dues, and their territories, including any opposition gang forces. Investigators found the document at the offices of a business run by Hoover's wife, Wendy Jenkins. Prosecutors said the document proves that Hoover ran a militaristic, top-down organization and closely monitored drug sales. The defense countered that Hoover asked a friend to draw up the chart to help him promote peace between rival gangs. The roster they found, they said it was a dope roster, but I had that so, if something happened in the community, I knew who to contact, says Hoover. I had a rapport with the other gang leaders to deal with conflicts that arose in the streets. Pause. His defense strategy and transcripts of secret recordings from FBI wiretaps on Hoover in prison show that the man was not Lex Luthor, but he was very familiar with even small details about his drug operation. Who on 47th Street, that's working? Is they folks? Hoover asked, urging that problem members be brought down to see him. You got to bring these chumps in, he said. Get Pops, and get a crew together, and ride. You got a problem with me, you see me. The Pops that Hoover was referring to is Daryl Pops Johnson, the feared GD board member from the south side of Chicago that was sent to death row for killing a government informant. Gregory Sharp, better known as G Sharp, was a powerful board member from the west side, and the hit that ended his life was detailed in several court cases.
Many men wish death upon me, blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be, and niggas trying to take my life away.
Charles Banks, aka Jello, was the snitch that first told the government all about Larry Hoover running the Gangster Disciples from prison, but Daryl Pops Johnson ordered the hit to silence him before he could take the stand. The story of Pop's plot to kill G Sharp is told in the appeal of Otis Wilson by Delano Finch, who at 18 years old became the youngest governor in the gang's history. Delano Finch testified that in November 1994, Daryl Pops Johnson and Gregory Sharp were board members in the gang. Delano was a governor at the time, and defendant was a member of his personal security detail. According to Delano, a week before the murder, Johnson met with him at a restaurant, and in a conversation outside the restaurant, Johnson told him that they had to kill Sharp. Defendant was present for this conversation. Delano tried to contact Sharp that day, but Sharp never responded to his call. On November 28, 1994, Delano was paged again by Johnson and told to meet him at 87th Street and the Dan Ryan Expressway at a gas station. Delano then told his nephew Ramon and defendant to meet him at the station and to bring the .40 caliber gun. The gun had been given to Delano by Johnson. Delano testified that when he arrived at the gas station, defendant and several other members of the gang were present, including Ramon, Kelly Quarles, Antoine U.G. Smith, Kevin Williams, Quan Ray, Heavy, Cedric Little Fool Cato, and Mike J. While at the gas station, Johnson spoke with Delano, Little Fool, Kevin Williams, and Mike J., and told them to call Sharp, make him feel comfortable, and then kill him. After Johnson gave the order, Delano told defendant to get into his car because defendant was working security for Delano and had a gun, and told Ramon and Quarles to leave. According to Delano, the gang members headed to the west side in different cars and exited the expressway at Costner Avenue. Traffic was stopped all the way to the stoplight at the top of the exit ramp. Little Fool pulled his car alongside Delano's car on the ramp. He pointed out that Gregory Sharp was sitting with a woman in a black Mercedes about 2 to 3 cars ahead of them. Little Fool asked Delano if they should do it, and Delano stated that he did not know. Little Fool then said it's a go, and Kevin Williams went to the driver's side of Sharp's car with a 9mm gun. Heavy jumped out with either a 9mm or .380 gun and went to the passenger side of Sharp's car. Defendant jumped out of Delano's car with a .40 caliber gun and approached the Mercedes. According to Delano, defendant was shooting at another car which appeared to have Sharp's security. When that car drove away, defendant started shooting at Sharp's car. After about a minute of gunfire, Delano told defendant to get back in the car, and they took off heading for the expressway. As they left, they drove alongside of Sharp's car and saw a woman slump down and saw Sharp, who was slumped over the steering wheel, fall on top of the woman.
Many men wish death upon me, blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see.
According to Ramon, on the day of the shooting, his uncle Delano paged him and told him to bring defendant to the gas station of the expressway on 87th Street and to make sure that defendant had a gun. When they arrived at the station, Delano told defendant to go with him and told Ramon and Quarles that they could leave. Delano stated that he did not want Quarles around because he had recently gotten out on bond on a federal case and was supposed to be cooperating with the authorities. Ramon testified that he followed Delano to the west side because he did not trust the people that were with Delano. Quarles was in the car with Ramon and testified that he did not know what they were planning to do and fell asleep in the car. Pause. Peep game. Gang members often talk about their brotherhood and how they love the guys, but it's all a lie. None of these niggas can trust each other because they're criminals engaged in criminal activity, but I digress. While he and Quarles were on the ramp exiting the expressway, they heard gunshots. Quarles woke up, and they both ducked down. When they looked up, Ramon saw K-Dog, Quan, Heavy, and defendant. Ramon testified that he saw Heavy and Quan shooting on the passenger side of Sharp's car and defendant shooting from the trunk of Sharp's car into the back window. Quarles testified that he saw K-Dog open the driver's side door of a dark Mercedes-Benz or BMW and start shooting. He saw defendant next to the black car he had been driving in, shooting over the door of the car. Quarles also saw a big dude shooting from the passenger side of the dark car. After the gunfire stopped, they headed back towards the expressway and ended up back on the south side of Chicago. Delano further testified that he was currently incarcerated and had been since September 1995, when he was indicted for conspiring with other members of the gang to distribute narcotics and for other gang-related crimes. At that time, he was charged with about 50 counts in a drug conspiracy and faced a minimum sentence of life in prison. He stated that he entered into a written plea agreement with the government in which he promised to cooperate and testify truthfully in this case in exchange for a 15-year sentence. As part of the agreement, Delano admitted to his role in the murder of Sharp and testified at the trials of many other gang members. So, we know what happened, but we don't know why. Was it a drug deal gone bad, or a power struggle between GDs on the south side and those on the west side? Did Larry Hoover order Daryl Pops Johnson to kill Gregory Sharp? It's the logical conclusion because Larry Hoover kept a 27-page roster of GD leaders, and I doubt Pops would make a move on another board member who was placed in his position because he was locked up with Hoover without the chairman's blessing. Let me know in the comments section if you agree. Please like this video and subscribe to The Real CNN for more content from us.
I put a hole in a nigga for fucking with me. My back on the wall, now you gon' see. Better watch how you talk when you talk about me, 'cause I'll come and take your life away. Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be, and niggas trying to take my life away.